This is a Gear Network production.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Mr. Perez, and you're listening to the Better Live Than Dead podcast, brought to you exclusively on Gear Network. Listen in.
How's it going, everybody? Episode number 73 of the Better Live Than Dead podcast is here live right now in your headset.
Episode 73.
Maybe it's in your headset, maybe it's out loud, maybe it's on your cell phone. I don't know. Either way, you're listening.
Maybe through your car speakers.
You're listening live right now. I am Ryan Wolf at Wolf BLTD on Twitter. He, on the other line, he being Mr. Luis Perez at MRLG Perez on the Tweetbots. How you doing tonight, man?
Dude, I'm awesome. It's September 23rd.
September 23rd.
Did I say September?
You said September. It feels like September.
Oh, my bad. It's December 23rd. It's 57 degrees outside. I'm driving home. I got the sunroof open. I'm smoking a cigar. We're doing the sports podcast. I'm awesome.
The only bad part about it is it may be a shortened podcast because there's not really much to talk about this week.
It's all good.
I'm not sure
Ryan,
if it's...
you always ask me how I'm doing, but how are you doing?
I'm good. Very tired. Like I said, I was telling you before we got on, I did a podcast earlier with Brayton, which will be up on BLTDsports.com here very soon. It's about the 2003 NHL redraft, and I almost fell asleep during the podcast because I was just beat about 5 or 6 o'clock when I recorded the podcast. Just had me beat up, and I was just ready to call it a day, but I powered through it like the good, good podcaster I am.
Are you gonna be able to make it through this one?
I should be able to. I just had I ate some applesauce, and then I had some of these little. They look like rice cakes, but they're smaller, so those are pretty good. And then I had a bag of popcorn.
Oh, I love me some popcorn.
Kettle corn, a very nutritious part of the heart healthy diet.
Kettle corn's awesome.
It's amazing. It's my favorite. So let's take a look at the sports world this week. First off, let's start in the NBA real quick. There's only really one thing to mention. Apparently, Dwight Howard is not very happy with the direction of the Houston Rockets, and not many people are lately. The Houston Rockets haven't been that good. I mean, last I checked, they haven't been that good. And Dwight is apparently not happy with how the team has become James Harden's team, and rightfully so. I mean, James Harden is a very explosive basketball player. He is arguably one of the best players in the league. He's dating a Kardashian. I mean, he's got it all figured out. Dwight Howard's mad about it. There have been rumors of a Dwight Howard trade to Miami that would involve Hassan Whiteside, but apparently those are just in the rumor stages. But Lewis, are you surprised that Dwight Howard is unhappy so soon, or did you kind of see this one coming?
No, I'm not surprised. I mean, look at the last couple teams he's been on. He's been unhappy relatively quick. So I'm really not surprised by this. And first of all, why shouldn't it be Howard's team? He is the Howard. Crap.
Harden.
I just lost. Yeah, thank you. Wow, I just completely blanked on his name. He's your point guard. He's a phenomenal talent. So I get it. Dwight's always kind of, when you think Dwight, you don't think leader. You know what I'm saying? Dwight could be one of the best centers in the league if he would just shut his mouth and play the ball. But he's very athletic. He can jump out of the gym, but he wants to be the center of attention. And on the teams that he's been on, he's always had other players that have been standout players, and he doesn't like that. So I'm not surprised at all.
I'm sure he'll find a franchise to go to and complain about here shortly. He always seems to do that.
Well, I'm sure he will. And it's a shame because if you would just, shut your mouth, play ball, let the coaches coach,
The coaches coach, the players play. That old saying.
How long did he last with the Lakers?
A season, because he wasn't happy with the direction of the franchise.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I think it was only like a season and a half. Like you had an opportunity to be Shaq 2.0 with Kobe, and you could have had it.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
And his reputation just continues to get worse throughout the National Basketball Association. So, someone will take him on. I'm just not sure who. I know, like I said, there's the Miami rumor. But then again, he doesn't like to seem to be happy playing second fiddle, but when he's by himself, he's not enough to win a championship.
No, he's not.
I want to move over to UFC now. There was another excellent event last, on the 19th, so just a few days ago. It was UFC on Fox Dos Anjos versus Cerrone 2, also known as UFC on Fox 17. It was held in Florida, Orlando, Florida, I believe. Yes, it's correct. The Amway Center, Orlando, Florida. Perfect transition from Dwight Howard to Orlando, Florida. Now, on the main card, some big fights took place. Nate Diaz defeated Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson, I believe at the time, was the 6th ranked fighter in the lightweight division, so Nate Diaz jumps up. And naturally, being Nate Diaz, he challenged Conor McGregor to a fight, which I'm not sure that one's going to happen, but you never know. Moving over to the heavyweight division, Alistair Overeem defeats Junior Dos Santos. Dos Santos was the number 2 ranked heavyweight fighter, and Overeem was ranked 9th on the last fight of his contract. Not even sure UFC was going to bring him back. He beats Dos Santos, and it looks like he's going to get a title shot now. He'll probably fight the winner of Velasquez and Verdum 2 coming up here shortly. And then in the lightweight division, Rafael Dos Anjos defeated Donald Cerrone. TKO due to punches and knees in the first round, a minute 6 in. Dos Anjos defends his title successfully, and it looks like Donald Cerrone's back to the drawing board trying to figure out how he can win that championship. After having a spectacular run to the title, unfortunately, he could not finish the job, but I'm sure Donald Cerrone will be back very soon.
Yeah, more than likely.
He's fantastic. Moving over to soccer now, FIFA drops the hammer on Sepp Blatter and suspends him for 8 years. So we're not going to be seeing him for a very long time, and he may even end up in jail because he's a very terrible guy, has not done a very good job of running FIFA ethically, and it's going to come back. It's going to come back to haunt him very, very, very soon.
Yes, it will.
Now moving over to the English Premier League, Chelsea fires Jose Mourinho. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I have a bad habit of mispronouncing names. I did it on the earlier podcast 7 or 8 times. Same name, a couple times, just screwed up. At this point in time, Chelsea is 15th in the EPL with a 5-3-9 record, 18 points. They are only out of the relegation zone by 3 points. Crazy to think that last year they won the EPL title. And now they're, like I said, they're fighting off relegation at this point. On the other side of things,
that is crazy. It's crazy
mad,
for a franchise like Chelsea.
They're very talented. They've got a lot of great players. It just looked like that might even be. It was a move that didn't need to happen, but it's one of those things where maybe if we just do this, it'll do the trick, and we'll go from there. On the other side of things, a shocker. I mean, for me, I'm very proud of this, but a shocker nonetheless. Leicester City, currently first in the EPL table, 38 points, 11-5-1 in 17 games. Absolute madness. Who would have thought that Leicester City would be leading the English Premier League at Christmas?
That's
Not me,
crazy,
for sure.
Man.
There is a guy in England who put down 1,000 to 1 odds, $5 and 1,000 to 1 odds that Leicester City would be leading the table at Christmas, and he won a ton of money. But to round out the top 5, Arsenal is second with 36 points. Man City is third with 32 points. Tottenham Spurs, 29 points. And then Man U, 29 points. Crystal Palace is tied for 5th, I guess you could say. They're 6th place, but they have 29 points. But, man, I'll tell you what a run it has been so far for Leicester City. It's absolutely just amazing to watch them play because Jamie Vardy's been spectacular. It's seriously, like I said, I'm just thinking about it and losing my train of thought here. Vardy's been good. Mahrez, Mahrez, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Mahrez. Mahrez is how you say his name. He's also been fantastic. It's been an absolute amazing turnaround from last year. I mean, this point last year, Leicester City was dead last. Dead last in the English Premier League. Became the first team to defeat relegation after being last at Christmas, and now this year at Christmas they're first. So,
I think your favorite team. That's your favorite team, right?
That is my favorite team.
See, they didn't want to disappoint you this year.
Well, I'm very thankful that they don't want to disappoint me, specifically me. I want to.
They got together. They had a team meeting, and they were like, "Let's not disappoint Ryan this year."
I guess that's a good way to put it, man. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe if they don't want to disappoint me, maybe they would sell me a jersey that I've been trying to buy for like 4 months. But I guess we all can't complain about everything now, right?
Right. I'll make a phone call for you.
I appreciate that, man. It's Christmas. You got to do something for me.
Right.
Major League Baseball now. The Pittsburgh Pirates signed Ryan Vogelsong, which is kind of it is a coming home for Vogelsong because he started with the Pirates, or at one point in time played for the Pirates, ended up going to Japan, came back with the Giants, won 2 titles with the Giants. A very feel-good story, a great feel-good story, I should say, for Vogelsong. But now he's back in Pittsburgh. Help that team vie for a playoff spot and potentially vie for a World Series championship. As we reported last week, the Washington Nationals were hot on the trail of second baseman Brandon Phillips of the Cincinnati Reds, but the Nationals have since moved on from that after Brandon Phillips wanted to rework his current contract, which is 2 years, $27 million left on that deal. He wanted to rework it for more money, and Washington said, haha, thanks, but no thanks, and they pieced out. That deal could still certainly... that can still certainly be looked at later in the year,
right?
Later in the off season, but at this point in time, it's not something that's going to happen. I mean, it probably would benefit Washington. Brandon Phillips is a still very good second baseman, offensively and defensively. So, like I said, it would probably be and it would allow them time to have their top prospect Trey Turner be in AAA Syracuse to kind of get ready for the majors. Right. So it gives them some insurance too as well.
Nothing wrong with that.
The St. Louis Cardinals made a splash here. They signed pitcher Mike Leake to a 5-year deal. Now here's the thing. His statistics, Twitter pointed this out to me. I can't remember the name. I do apologize, but Twitter pointed this out to me that Mike Leake is, for all intents and purposes, he has a 101 plus ERA, which essentially means he's an average pitcher. Nothing wrong with that, but average pitchers are getting $80 to $85 million a year now, or for deals, $15, $20 million a season.
It's crazy.
That's the market is just that's what the market's giving at this point in time, and
it's still crazy,
dude. It's absolute bonkers at this point. But sorry, I'm just adding something to our list of things to talk about because I just remembered something. But we'll go there in a second. But yeah, I mean it's a good pickup for Tampa, or if not for Tampa. Sorry, I'm reading this as I'm talking. It's a good pickup for St. Louis. I'm talking about Tampa. I thought about Tampa because of Wade Boggs, which we're going to talk about in a second. But a good pickup for St. Louis. I'm sure he'll bolster the rotation. They were going for David Price and ended up getting Mike Leake. Whatever, that works. Speaking of Wade Boggs now, the longtime Boston Red Sox will finally, after years of begging the franchise and pleading with the franchise, the Boston Red Sox will retire Wade Boggs, number 26, next season.
Why did Wade Boggs have to beg and plead for that. I feel like they should have retired it already.
Well, that's a good argument. I mean, that's the argument that a lot of people have made. But here's the deal: he went to New York, and a lot of Red Sox fans were butthurt about the lasting image of Wade Boggs going to New York, winning a world championship in New York, and then riding a horse around Yankee Stadium. That kind of pissed a lot of people off. And apparently, he did not make a lot of friends throughout the years, from what I gather. But
okay.
Apparently, they felt it was time to do it, and they're going to do it. And I mean, it makes sense because you want to honor the guy while you still can. Also, with the current crop of Red Sox, the only numbers you would retire would be Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz. Manny is likely not going to go to the Hall of Fame because he's not in the Hall of Fame. They've only made an exception for Johnny Pesky, who was a lifelong Red Sox and worked in the organization until the day he died. They made an exception for him. Everybody else has you have to be a member of the Red Sox for 10 years and be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Now, I believe with Pedro, I believe that they laxed the rules. I can't remember if he was with the Red Sox for 10 years or not, but off the top of my head. But his number's retired. So David Ortiz is the other one, where it's questionable if he'll make the Hall of Fame, and if he doesn't make the Hall of Fame, it's going to be for a while. Like, even if he retires when he was going to retire after this year, so it'll be 5 years from this year, and it could be anywhere from, so if he retires 2016, that's 2021, and then he could probably, so we're looking at like 16 years. The Red Sox won't retire a number for 16 years at least, or sometime in the next 16 years. And if that's if Ortiz makes it, I mean, because David, no matter what, I think they retire the number 34. There's been no better clutch hitter in baseball since David Ortiz has shown up since David Ortiz.
Right.
One of the greatest, if not the greatest, designated hitters ever. I know we're getting off the fact that Wade Boggs here, but it all comes back. The reason they're doing this is because it's going to be a very long time until they get the chance to do it again. And why not tie up some loose ends? I mean, they've made nice with Bill Buckner, make nice with Wade Boggs, throw 26 up in the rafter or up on the right field mezzanine, concourse, whatever you want to call it, and we'll go from there. But in 11 years with the Boston Red Sox, Wade Boggs compiled 2,098 hits, only 85 home runs. He only hit 118 home runs in his career. That's fascinating. I never knew that. He really didn't have that fantastic of numbers. It's crazy to think he's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he batted .328 in his career with the Red Sox. He batted .338. Only Ted Williams has a higher batting average in a career with the Boston Red Sox. But he only hit 118 home runs, only had 1,014 RBIs, only stole 24 bases in his career, had 3,010 hits, and that's because he played till he was 41. So that's interesting.
Yeah, no, it definitely is interesting. I think there are, players with better stats that won't get into the Hall of Fame at this point.
I guess it's just all about the time, though. Like what time did you play, and were you he was the best third baseman of his era, so that's probably why he's in, and that's, I would just assume that's why he's in. But
yeah,
speaking of the Hall of Fame, that you give me a great transition, Lewis. I appreciate that. Hall of Fame ballots were turned in last Monday, so the 21st Hall of Fame ballots were due, and they're in. Now, good follow on Twitter, at not Mr. Tibbs, TIBBS. He follows, his name is Ryan Tibbs. He follows the Baseball Hall of Fame ballots, searches the web, people help him out. As of the 23rd, he has 99 ballots that are public, so roughly 22%. If the estimated total of ballots in is 450, so 99 of 450 is 22%. Right now, through 22% of the estimated known ballots, or 99 ballots, it looks like Jeff Bagwell, who's at 83.8%, he has 83 out of 99 votes. Ken Griffey Jr., who has 99 of 99 votes, will make it in the Hall of Fame. Mike Piazza, who has 89 of 99 votes, or 89.9%. Tim Raines, who has 80 of 80 or 99 votes at 80.8%. And that would be it. So you're looking Tim Raines, Mike Piazza, Ken Griffey Jr., and Jeff Bagwell at this point in time. Griffey's a lock. Piazza, probably a lock. Tim Raines is going to get in, if not this year, next year, because he's got 2 years left in eligibility, including this season. Jeff Bagwell is going to also be in the Hall of Fame. I don't know if it's this year or next year or the year after, but he'll end up in the Hall of Fame. The interesting thing to look at right now is, and again, this is only through 99 ballots, so we don't know how it's, these people may be the ones that voted a lot for Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. But as of this right now, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens both have 47.5% vote. So 47 each of 99 votes. Of 99 ballots out there, they've been voted for 47 times. So that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. Same with Curt Schilling. Curt Schilling has 58 of 99 votes, or 58.6%. So it's going to be interesting to see how those shake out. Edgar Martinez has 52.5% of the vote right now, or 52. Hoffman has 61 votes, 61.6%. So a lot of things are going to be shaken out this year. If Edgar Martinez gets a jump in his numbers, maybe we see a designated hitter going to the Hall of Fame. It's his 7th year of eligibility, so he'll have 3 years left after this. Trevor Hoffman, if Trevor Hoffman gets a good vote, we could see a relief pitcher go in the Hall of Fame, which will open the door for other relief pitchers that deserve it. You see here, too, Mark McGwire in his 10th year of eligibility has 14.1% of the vote. It does not look like he'll make the Hall of Fame. And Alan Trammell, who has 49.5% of the vote, does not look like he'll make it on the Hall of Fame ballot, but the I can't remember the other word. The committee, excuse me, I forgot what the committee's name is, but it's like the Veterans Committee or something like that. They'll probably vote Trammell in the Hall of Fame because, I believe at this point he's probably a Hall of Famer. But it looks, like I said, it looks like we could get a big Hall of Fame class this year, and why not? I mean, you got to clear it out at some point in time, and it's getting to the point where guys like Edgar Martinez are going to get a longer look. Guys like Mike Mussina. Mike Mussina has 55.6% of the vote, 55 public votes out of the 99 public ballots. Guys like Mussina, Martinez, Bonds and Clemens, Curt Schilling, they're all going to get longer looks because the votes will be there. Will they get voted in? I don't know. I don't necessarily think all those guys are going to get voted in. But in due time, we may get a situation where we see exactly what the Hall of Fame thinks of these players.
Yeah, no, that's true. And, there are a couple names that might get left out. That's, it is what it is. But it'll be interesting to see if this is a large class this year. Because, like you said, it definitely does seem like it's going to be.
And it's, like I said, rightfully so. It should be. I mean,
well, yeah, Ken Griffey Jr., there's no way you're not putting him in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, come on. I mean, it's not even it's not a matter of if, but how many that comes to votes.
Exactly. We'll see. Maybe he'll end up being one of the highest percentage, votes ever to get inducted.
I'd hope so, because like I said, he absolutely deserves it.
Yeah, if his name comes up on your ballot and you're part of the committee, how are you not picking him?
A lot of people do it just because they want the attention. They want people to say, "Hey,
so and so didn't vote for him."
This is why, pay attention to me. This is why I don't want him in, and I did it for personal reasons or to get publicity, because that's how it's happened before.
Stupid.
That's media for you. But again, this year too, the cool thing about this season, remember, is that they started doing the new voting.
Right. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how everything shakes out when it's all said and done.
Keep an eye on it. I mean, that's what we're here for. Now, moving over to football, we're at about a half hour right now, and we're doing good. We're pacing the podcast very well. We'll have to do some after call talking. But that's fine. We'll get back to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, are we going to go back to the NBA?
We can if you want to. I just threw in what I saw this week. I didn't see anything else that really stuck out to me. If you want to go back to basketball before we hit football, be my guest.
Yeah, man. breaking piece of news that happened tonight. Dirk Nowitzki passed Shaquille O'Neal for 6 on the all-time scoring list.
Dirk is a beast, man. Seriously, one of the best players to ever play the game.
Well, he only needed 10 points to pass Shaquille. So obviously he did, because he just passed him for 6 all time, right? And that's he has shown staying power. He is a beast, like you said. He's real fluid with the basketball. He's one of those big men that was not only good inside, but he also had a really good jump shot. And that's something you see from the European players, that the big dudes they can all crash the rim, and they can all throw up three-pointers. You don't see that in American basketball, which is stupid. But congratulations.
Most of the time, congratulations, especially for try that again. Congratulations certainly goes to Dirk, but like I said, most of the time, U.S. basketball is stupid.
Yeah, it is. U.S. basketball, the players in the U.S., they get away from fundamentals, which is stupid. And the Europeans thrive on fundamentals.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm happy for Dirk. I'm happy for him. I got his autograph a while back. I sent him something in the mail, and he signed it. It's pretty cool. I've been a fan of Dirk for a while.
Oh, me too. Another quick piece. The Warriors, entering Christmas, now have the highest win percentage of any team ever going into Christmas.
I really hope that they challenge the Bulls record, man.
Yeah, they got a .964% win percentage, which is ridiculous, by the way.
And no signs of slowing down either.
No, none. I think they just won like their 30th straight at home.
Yeah.
They haven't lost in like 380 days. Good for them.
Dude, they are the most exciting thing in sports to watch right now.
They really are. And Steph Curry may be the best basketball player in the world at this point.
Oh, no, there's no doubt about it. No doubt about it in my mind. Steph Curry's the best basketball player in the world. Any guy, you need him to make any shot, he can make it. It's kind of like in football when people ask me if I could have a quarterback start a one-game playoff, who would it be? It'd be Tom Brady. If I needed a basketball player to win me a game, Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Under any amount of pressure, he can make any shot. Easily, any shot.
That's a true story. And he makes it look easy.
He makes it look ridiculously easy. It's almost unfair how easy he makes it look.
It really is. It really is. And this whole team has just been on fire.
I want to talk about the National Football League now. The last of the sports we're going to speak of this evening. St. Louis, the city of St. Louis agrees to finance a new stadium, but it looks like the National Football League is going to shoot it down. Apparently, it does not fall within the specifications the NFL asks for cities to follow when it comes to providing money for the city. Like, the city will provide money, but the NFL, it wants the NFL to provide a ton more, and the NFL, apparently will only provide a specific amount. I should have wrote the amounts down, but I did not, so I apologize. But it's just more or less saying, hey, look at one side saying we're trying to do something, and we're going to make the Rams look bad because St. Louis is going to tell their people, hey, guess what? We got the financing approved. We're going to build a stadium. And the Rams say, no, you're not. Then the Rams are the bad guys, not the city of St. Louis. But with that being said, it does look like the San Diego Chargers are getting ready to move to Los Angeles because it looks like they played their last game at home on Sunday. They had like a big big celebration. They pulled Phil Rivers, Antonio Gates, and Malcolm Floyd off the field before the end of the game so the stadium could cheer them. Players stayed afterwards and signed tons of autographs and hung out on the field. Eric Weddle, I believe, was doing donuts in the player parking lot before he left. I mean, they were all getting pretty sentimental. Phil Rivers was choked up post game talking about it because it's the only place he's ever played at home.
Right.
But it looks like the Chargers are moving to Los Angeles. I would think they'll probably play at the Coliseum next year for the next couple years and just build a new stadium.
Right.
Or maybe they play at the trying to think of what the other stadium is. The Rose Bowl. Maybe they'll play at the Rose Bowl, but I don't think that's an option at this point in time.
No, they generally have a ton of stuff going on at the Rose Bowl.
Well, not just that, but it's also not only the fact that the Rose Bowl has a lot of stuff going on, but I believe it's something along the lines like the maintenance, and they wanted to do something else. If they play National Football League football there has to be a multitude of upgrades, and I'm not sure if the Rose Bowl wanted to do that or if they couldn't, but it certainly looks like. I would have to think. I mean, because you saw what happened in Minnesota. The TCF Bank Stadium, I believe, is the name of the stadium, where University of Minnesota plays. When the Vikings showed up, they had to put millions of dollars into the stadium to make it NFL ready.
Right.
But if they're moving to Los Angeles, there will be the NFL will pour open their pockets because they're a pile of garbage, and the owners are all they're all very see-through, and it's very easy to see the end game with them. Moving on to some Washington football news. Apparently, they are in love with Kirk Cousins, and they want to so much in love that they're saying they may put the franchise tag on him following the season, which sounds absolutely ridiculous because that's like $15 or $16 million for Kirk Cousins. But the story goes on to say that they are set to release Robert Griffin III, which is probably for the best. They kept him benched this entire season so he would stay healthy. So there was no way that they could get stuck footing the bill next season. Where Robert Griffin would end up, I'm not sure yet, but I would have to think. I mean, we'll talk about the Bills in a minute, but there's this is just speculation on my part, but there's rumblings out of Buffalo that they may be looking for quarterbacks, among other things. Maybe Buffalo gives Robert Griffin a look because of Greg Roman and his success with Colin Kaepernick in San Francisco. But that's just one of the many thoughts on Robert Griffin III. But yeah, Kirk Cousins looks like he's going to be Washington's quarterback for a while. Robert Griffin's going to be gone. Not surprising either way, but the fact that they're so happy with Kirk Cousins that they would franchise tag him, that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. It really kind of does.
There's not much more you can say about that.
No, I really have nothing for you. I mean, you're a franchise tag Kirk Cousins.
It's like he won you. He barely won you 7 games so far in a division that's been garbage.
Right.
Like you made the best of a worse situation, but you really think he's going to be the guy that can win you a Super Bowl? Please.
Nope.
The New England Patriots have signed running back Steven Jackson for the remainder of the season to bolster their running game after after LeGarrette Blount suffered a season-ending injury. That'll be interesting to see if Jackson has anything left in the tank. Oakland cornerback, defensive back Charles Woodson, future Hall of Famer Charles Woodson, Heisman Trophy winner Charles Woodson, announces his retirement following a game this week, says that he'll hang him up, and obviously next destination likely to be Canton. Also, really quick, we'll talk about last week's games here in a second, but it sounds as if Odell Beckham Jr. has been suspended for 1 game following throwing punches on the field against the Panthers, against Panthers cornerback Josh Norman. They were going back and forth, and there was a lot of hatred on the field when the Panthers defeated the Giants, the New York Giants, to move to 14-0. And Odell.
Oh, you know what?
He threw punches. He threw punches. The VP of referees said that they both should have been. Odell Beckham should have been ejected, if not Josh Norman as well for antagonizing him. But It was reported today that the suspension had been lifted, but then Adam Schefter came back out and said there's been no indication that Odell Beckham Jr.'s suspension will be lifted. So either way, we'll keep an eye on it.
No, his suspension has been upheld.
It's been upheld.
Yeah, it's been upheld.
Okay.
He will be suspended for 1 game.
Because I saw Ron Jaworski said something, and then Schefter said something back, and then Odell Beckham Jr. apologized and said whatever the outcome of my appeal is. So I wasn't sure if it was upheld, but either way, that's a big loss for the Giants.
It is. Yeah, no, it's been upheld. And you know what? I don't even think it was the punches that got him the 1 game suspension. It was the diving missile helmet-to-helmet that he did on Norman.
They said the helmet-to-helmet hit probably should have had him ejected, but the punches were what? Because you can't start a fist fight in a football field.
Right, you can't. But I mean, Ron Jaworski said that in his 42 years in the NFL, he's never seen a more malicious play.
Yeah, that was pretty. That was from
that helmet to helmet.
But then again, I didn't watch it, so I don't really know. I just heard about it, and it sounded pretty bad.
Dude,
Let me go take a look really fast. Well, hold on. Let me take a look really fast. I'll go pop it up on my Twitter. I could probably find a GIF real fast.
Oh, dude, it's literally one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. He runs by Norman, and Norman kind of like lets him go by, and Norman turns around to make a play on the ball, and Odell Beckham stops, runs halfway across the field towards the play, and launches himself helmet to helmet at Norman.
I'm looking right now. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, watch that.
Oh, yeah, you can't do that.
No,
you can't do that.
That was
Norman, yeah, Norman pushed him by, and then he came back and just launched himself right in the face mask. You can't do that. That's garbage.
That is garbage.
That's absolutely horrible. Speaking of garbage, good transition. We're just killing it tonight, man. The Buffalo Bills. Apparently, last Sunday there was reports coming out that it's Doug Whaley versus Rex Ryan. As last year we saw Doug Whaley versus Doug Marrone. Now it's Whaley versus Ryan. Now, WGR Sal Capaccio says Doug Whaley is going nowhere. Where the Buffalo News' Vic Carucci reports Terry Pagula is getting outside advice on direction of the team. And there's a lot of reports that guy is going to be Bill Polian, who that would be horrible because Bill Polian tonight came out and said to the Buffalo News, the Buffalo Bills offensive line is aging and needs to be fixed. Mind you, 4 of the 5 starters are 26 years or younger. Like, what are you talking about? So maybe Bill Polian if they hire Bill Polian, just pack it in and get ready for another 20 years of no playoffs.
Your offensive line is actually pretty good.
Yeah, and you do. I don't know if you heard this today, but impending free agent Cordy Glenn has revealed what caused him to have such a horrible season last year. He's been good, as pointed out on Twitter, 3 of his 4 seasons. The one season that wasn't good was last year. Well, just so happens that Cordy Glenn either told the media, I don't know how it came out, but the media learned that Cordy Glenn had a kidney removed before the season and went on to play all 16 games that season.
That's one tough dude.
That's madness. I don't know if that's toughness or stupidity. Either way, wow.
A little bit of both.
Got to be a little bit of both. But I mean, you wouldn't be on the field if you weren't able to play. Then again, could be a little bit of both of stupidity and just toughness. But we'll see. We'll see how that turns out for him in the future. But hopefully the Bills, if the Bills want to be good and continue to try to be good, re-sign Cordy Glenn, re-sign Richie Incognito. And they probably will have money because it looks like they're going to cut Mario Williams because Mario Williams does not fit Rex Ryan's defense. But that's something we'll talk about in the future in the offseason. We'll get Matthew Collar from WGR on, and we'll talk some Bills with him, or we'll find another Bills guy to discuss some Bills sports with us. But I want to move over to last week's Pick'em. Lewis.
Well, real quick, before you do that.
Okay.
Back to the whole Odell Beckham, Josh Norman thing.
Please do.
Norman was fined $46,000. So he did not get all unscathed, which is cool. He had to be fined also. Actually, $26,044. Don't really know why you need that 44, but hey. And I also want to give some props to the Panthers because as of right now, they lead the NFL with 10 players selected to the Pro Bowl.
They've been impressive, dude. They've been absolutely impressive.
They really have.
I mean, it's hard to not be impressive when you're undefeated.
Yeah, you know what? Before we move on to last week's pick'ems, I want to send, and I can't believe I'm going to do this, but let's go back to the NBA real quick.
Oh, man.
I got to give some props to Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
The last 4 games, he's had 31 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 22 points, 2 of the games, 25 points another game, 8 rebounds, 3 rebounds, 7 rebounds, and 2 games he had 6 assists and 3 assists. Not that long ago, we were talking that Kobe was done. He should just pack it up. And he's come out and he's played pretty well, so good for him. I think he was listening to the podcast and wanted to just show us up.
Yeah, dude, he has to have been. I mean, someone must have let him know that we're talking smack about him.
Right.
And then he just starts playing really good all of a sudden.
Exactly.
So I think I think with the way that the Panthers are playing, our buddy and our senior music correspondent Paul Wagner will have to join us sometime very soon to discuss the Panthers, to discuss the playoffs, and we'll get his takes on what he thinks about the playoffs. I'll have to get him back on the line. I know I believe he's currently on tour still, but I can check that out really fast while we talk about the pick'em. Last week I went 12-4. Lewis, you and John went 11-5. That brings us to week 16, where I have 137 wins. You have 133. John has 126. Now this week, it's pretty cut and dried. There are 4 games that we disagree on. The first one being Oakland and San Diego. Lewis, you and I have Oakland. John has San Diego. The next one, Buffalo and Dallas. John and I have Buffalo. Lewis, you have Dallas. You have a lot of confidence in Kellen Moore as a quarterback?
No, not really. But, I had to go with the team, man. I had to go with my team. Because Buffalo's just been kind of falling apart. Their defense has been falling apart. Their offense, Tyrod Taylor still looks really good.
It sounds like with the Buffalo Bills, and like I said, we'll get a Buffalo Bills guy in because I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not gonna lie to you here. I haven't watched the Bills game in 10 weeks. Like since the Bills, I think it's been 10 weeks. When the Bills lost to the Jaguars, I tapped out in the season. I said, you know what, I'm sick of this crap. No, I'm serious. Like I've just got to the point where football is like, and this may sound like me being a little baby, but I'm just to the point where football as a whole just absolutely disgusts me. And I could really care less what happens. Yes, I pay attention enough on Twitter, looking at stats, looking at news stories, so I can talk on the podcast, so I can give you guys a kind of an insight on how I feel about football, how you feel about football. I'm not going to watch the game. Like I'm probably not going to watch a game the rest of the year. The only way you're going to get me to watch a game maybe is if Cam Newton's in the Super Bowl. That's probably the only way I'll watch football again this season. And then after that, I'm probably not going to watch football again until the Bills make the playoffs because I'm sick and tired of repeatedly getting kicked in the groin, watching a team chase its own tail as it's crapping in its own face, So, yes, I don't watch the Bills games. But yes, I am knowledgeable enough to read what is happening and see what other people say and draw my own conclusions from that. So, when I say stuff about the Bills, yes, I may not be diehard Bills fan watching everything, breaking down every single play on all 22 or whatever, but I got a pretty damn good idea of what's going on. But with that being said, I have no problem bringing somebody on that does it for a living because they care just a little more than I do about the Buffalo Bills. But with the Bills, in my expert opinion, after I just outed myself as not watching the games and not really knowing what's going on, from what I gather, the problem is not the offense. The offense is fine. The problem is with the defense. They don't know. They're having trouble adjusting to the scheme of Rex Ryan's defense because it's been said, and it's common knowledge at this point, Rex Ryan's defenses are very, very difficult to comprehend, to learn, to get ingrained into your brain. So there are players that have said play calls have been coming in late. They haven't had time to get set up, which is something that makes sense because you see other teams snapping the ball super fast. Like that game against the Patriots earlier this year where Tom Brady, his average snap time was average time from snap to getting rid of the ball was roughly about 2.22 seconds or something like that. Like
right.
that is paying attention to film and going, okay, they're not set. If I hike it and get the ball out quick to a hot read or something, or just get the play I want and go, we can beat them. So that's the problem.
Right.
The other problem seems to be they're trying to fit square pegs in round holes in terms of players. Fantastic defensive end. In a Rex Ryan system, it's just not working. And it's unfortunate because, like I said, he's a fantastic player. He was a part of this Buffalo defense resurgence when he came and signed that gigantic deal. Remember when he flew into town and it's like the Bills held him hostage and he signed the deal. He left the Texans and came. It was either Tennessee or Buffalo. Stayed in Buffalo, signed the deal. He's been part of the team in rebuilding that defense. With Mike Pettin as the defensive coordinator, with Jim Schwartz as the defensive coordinator, he was great. With Rex Ryan's defensive scheme, now they say it's Dennis Thurman as the defensive coordinator, but we all know it's Rex Ryan's defense. He is the leader of that pack. It's just not working. And I'm afraid this offseason what the Bills are going to do, whether it's Doug Whaley or whether it's someone else, they're going to downgrade their defense. It may make the defense better because the defense hasn't been anywhere near great like it has been for the past couple of years. But they'll go out and pick guys up who fit Rex Ryan's defense. And while that may make the scheme better, it may not make the defense better because those players aren't going to be Mario Williams. So I'm very worried about what may happen in the months to come in the offseason. I mean, we always say they have a plan, but we've been saying they've had a plan for 15 years now, and this is the 15th straight year they haven't made the playoffs. So, they're going to head into season 16 with no playoffs and a gigantic garbage bag full of promises and a bigger dumpster full of excuses. It's been a tough season for Bills fans. It's been a tough season for the Bills. Lots of expectations that have been shattered. I think Rex Ryan is a good coach, but I don't necessarily know if the way they went with the defense was the best way to go. Like, I know Rex wants to run his system and all that stuff, but you know what?
When you have a player like Mario Williams...
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. But when you got a player like Mario Williams, you find a way to make him work within your defensive scheme because he's a dominant defensive player. So if he's having an off year because he's following your scheme, you got to take a look at your scheme and think, how can we fit him into this?
But then again, you've seen. Sorry to cut you off, Louis, but you saw in New York what he did. Where if there was a guy, it doesn't matter how good or bad you were, if you didn't fit the system, you're gone. Like, you could be a good player, don't fit the system, you're gone. You're a bad player, but you fit the system, you'll get some time, you'll get a shot.
Right.
That's just how Rex Ryan does it. I mean, it's worked before, but very skeptical. Color me skeptical, very skeptical, because I've seen the Bills firsthand. I'm 24 now, so I've been a Bills fan for since 2000. So for the past 15 years. Like I said, the first Bills game I can remember watching was the Music City Miracle game, so you can tell how long my Bills fandom has been around. It's not going anywhere. I'm just not going to openly support the Bills, and I'm not going to watch the Bills, and I'm not going to, my weekends won't be ruined if the Bills lose. I've had, I'll tell you what, I've had some of the best weekends of my life not watching football, and it's just been amazing. Like just going out and going to a movie or going out to dinner or going to the art gallery or just doing whatever. Like if the Bills were good, I would probably give them a watch. But when the Bills are going to be pile of crap, and it just continually happens, and you keep seeing it happen and seeing it happen and seeing it happen. I'm just sick of it. Plus, with the NFL, don't even get me started with the NFL, because they're just a tire fire of a bunch of overpaid old white guys who don't really give a damn. It's like an old gentleman's club, they just or an old boys club or whatever the hell the saying is. They don't care as long as they're making they don't care as long as they're making money.
I don't know, man. I'm not going to jump on a soapbox because I like the NFL still.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. And I don't have. And it's like, look at I'm not over here like I hope football dies in a fiery accident. Like I don't care that much. I'm just saying like this is how I feel about football lately. And it's funny because like this concussion movie comes out, and people are like, "Oh my God, is that really happening?" It's like, yeah, this has been happening for decades now. And no one paid attention because nobody really cared about it until players started dying. And like we got the report this week that the NFL reportedly pulled funding from Boston University because they weren't happy how the tests were going to come out or how the results were going to come out. Where the NFL said they choose the funding, not us, which whatever, that may be true. But still, the fact of the matter is the National Football League will pay institutions to give them what they want to hear. That's been happening forever. I mean, at one point in time, Lewis, the NFL paid Riddell to come up with a concussion-proof helmet, and they actually did it. And it was proven very quickly that no helmet is concussion-proof. The only way to avoid concussions is to not play football. But the NFL didn't want to hear that, so they were like, well, we're going to take our money back now, and we're going to go to someone else who will tell us what we want to hear.
Yeah, I'm not, like I said.
Hey, if you don't want to jump in, that's fine. I'm just telling you how I feel. We can move back on to the pick'em. I'm just saying.
I appreciate how you feel. Like, I get it. I enjoy the game, so I'm going to watch the game.
I understand that. I respect that. I completely respect that. I just want people, at this point in time, I feel like football fans are not as educated as they should be when it comes to this stuff. Like, I don't have a problem with football. And we'll move on after this because I know we'll continue to get off topic if I don't. I don't have a problem with football. I have a problem with football hiding the fact that their game is killing people. And they don't care as long as they're making money. Like if you educate people and say, look, this is what happens to you if you play football. And it's not even the NFL because we've seen college players too. They just did a recent study on college players who never played the NFL. And if you play football, you're more susceptible to CTE, which is the brain injury that's caused by repeated concussions, repeated hits to the head. And it just degenerates your brain faster. You get 50-year-old men with 85-year-old man's brain, and then they have all these illnesses and all this stuff. The NFL is pretending, and I understand why they're doing it, because there's ongoing litigation. But at some point in time, the National Football League has to step up and say, look, this is what the game does. Take it or leave it. A lot of people will leave it. But the NFL, it seems like right now the NFL is too big to fail. I'm not sure if that's ever going to change. But at some point in time, if the National Football League says this is what you're getting yourself into, now you make the decision.
We'll see what happens.
I mean, it's no secret that you see the numbers of kids in youth football dropping. And it's scaring the NFL because if kids aren't playing football, then less kids are going to be to college, less kids are going to go to the NFL, because it's not just going to be like, oh, hey, even if these kids are bad, they're going to make the NFL. It's going to be, adapt or die, essentially. And if the product is not good, they'll start to lose money, and then there goes the chain reaction downhill. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but let's go back to the pick'em before we get too far off track. Although we've already taken a complete left turn and missed the exit 15 times.
It's all good.
But hey, at least you got a break. You got a break from talking, so that's good. Oakland, like I said, Lewis, you and I have Oakland. John has Seattle. I have Buffalo. John has Buffalo. You have
No,
Dallas.
that's Seattle.
San Diego. I apologize. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're even now for the screw-ups for the podcast.
It's all good.
Tampa. We have Tampa. Lewis, you and I have Tampa. John has Chicago. And then Lewis, you and I have Minnesota. And John has the Giants. And that does it for that.
Yeah.
I think with Odell Beckham, the Giants don't have a shot. Without Odell Beckham, just show up on Monday and get your paycheck, because it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good for you.
No, not at all. So Ryan, it looks like you're going to win this year.
Looks like I'm going to win. Tell me more. I'm listening. I
feel like you're going to win the pick'ems this year.
So, I mean, maybe if Week 17 is crazy, Week 17 could be the turning point. But I learned my lesson last year. I tried to be crazy and I lost it. I don't want to lose it. I'm playing safe. But plus, at this point, I'm looking at the pick'em sheet right now. Like, let me go back to it in my notebook here. It's like, who else would I pick? Would I pick, Jacksonville? Jacksonville will beat New Orleans, I think. Seattle's going to beat St. Louis. Actually, I'm just going to run. I'm just going to run down the list real quick. That's what I forgot to do. That's why it felt so quick. We've got Washington over Philadelphia, Carolina over Atlanta, Pittsburgh over Baltimore, and these are all unanimous, by the way. Detroit over San Francisco, Kansas City over Cleveland, Indianapolis over Miami, New England over the Jets, Houston over Tennessee, Jacksonville over New Orleans, Arizona over Green Bay, Seattle over St. Louis, and Denver over Cincinnati. Which that's actually, I think Cincy can win that game. It's a very big game for Denver, because if Denver wants a shot at a bye week, they have to win.
Yep, and Osweiler is starting again this week for them.
And speaking of the playoffs, I'm going to jump over here real quick because we're about an hour now, so we have a few more minutes to discuss the NFL before we move on to the post-show discussions that we'll have here. The New England Patriots sit 12-2, first seed in the AFC. The Bengals 11-3 are second. They have clinched their playoff spot. The third seed Denver Broncos 10-4 were currently scheduled to host the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 9-5. Arguably the most dangerous team in football right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I agree.
The Houston Texans at 7-7 are projected to win their division at this point in time, obviously, because they're leading it. So that was a dumb thing of me to say. Don't mind that. Let's try that again. At 7-7, the Houston Texans are the 4th seed, projected to face the Chiefs, host the Chiefs, who are 9-5 as the 5th seed. In the AFC right now, the Jaguars are 5-9. The Colts are 6-8. Jaguars are probably out of that division race. The Colts are going to need a little help with a couple weeks left. If the Colts don't make the playoffs, Chuck Pagano's getting fired. That's for damn sure. Even if they make the playoffs, he's still probably going to get fired. They're the 8th seed right now at 6-8. And the Jets are at 9-5, fighting the Steelers for a final playoff berth, while the Steelers and the Chiefs for a final playoff berth. What a shame that would be, if the Jets were so good but they didn't make the playoffs. Dang it, that would be horrible.
John, did you hear the sarcasm there, John?
I'm sure it's dripping. I need a towel over here, man. I got to clean all that crap up off the floor. My parents are going to be too happy when they see that gigantic mess on the floor in the morning.
What's with all this sarcasm on the floor?
Moving over to the NFC now. Panthers 14-0. Strong candidate to go 16-0, dude. I'm pulling so hard for the Panthers right now.
Oh yeah, I think they're going to run the table.
Like I said, I could care less about football at this point, but I've fallen in love with Cam Newton. He's a fantastic human being, a fantastic football player. When I talked to Paul Wagner earlier in the season, we talked about Cam Newton being the MVP. He said there's no way it's going to happen. And I said there's an outside chance, but it's unlikely. At this point, I think Cam Newton is your MVP. I mean, he's been fantastic the second half. The team is 14-0. I mean, there's they play Atlanta and they play Tampa Bay. They should be able to win. They should be able to win out.
Oh, absolutely. Especially since they just spanked Atlanta 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Now the Cardinals, 12-2 with the 2 seed. It looks like that they have clinched the 2 seed. That's confirmed, I believe. They play Green Bay this week. Let me just double check and see what that Y means. I don't remember. Oh, the Y means a division title.
Yes.
If they win this week, they'll clinch the 2 seed. The 3 seed Green Bay Packers, and now that'll be huge too. I'm not sure how the Packers are in the playoffs, Seahawks are in the playoffs. Washington at 7-7, the 4 seed is fighting off the 6-8 Giants and the 6-8 Eagles. We'll go back and talk about the seeds in a second, but if the Packers lose and the Vikings win this week, that could throw a wrench into things and flop home field advantage. I can't remember how the breakdown goes, but I think because the Packers own the tiebreaker over the Vikings, they would get the 3 seed, and the Vikings would get the 6 seed, which just means do you play in freezing cold Lambeau or freezing cold Minnesota? But right now, the Seahawks would travel to Washington and take on Washington and Kirk Cousins, the Lord and Savior quarterback, apparently. I wouldn't want to face Seattle because Seattle's been on a roll lately. Best football we've seen in a while. Then obviously the Vikings and Packers. Vikings the 6 seed, Packers the 3 seed. We'll talk a little more about this next week as the picture comes to. But obviously the NFL playoffs are in full swing, and things are looking like they're getting ready to go.
You know, people might want to watch out for those Seahawks. They've been playing their best football the last several weeks, and they're getting hot at the right time. They can make another deep run, if not make it to another Super Bowl.
Sorry, I had someone try to challenge me on the tweet bots.
Oh, okay.
Because I called out Bill Polian on Twitter because Bill Polian said that Tyrod Taylor is not the quarterback of the future, and I said, "Oh, hey, what a shock! An old white guy thinking a black athletic quarterback can't be the future." I'm writing that narrative down, and then someone said, "Before Russell Wilson named the last black quarterback to win a Super Bowl," and within seconds I said, "Doug Williams." I know that one by heart. Like, don't try to challenge me, man. Like. Old white. I'm not trying to be stereotypical here, but old white guys, usually old white football minds, don't like black quarterbacks. That's just how it goes. You don't ever turn on ESPN, you ever see an old white guy or Bill Polian talking good about black quarterbacks. It's just how it happens. It's how it works.
Yeah, someone saying Tyrod Taylor's not the future for the Buffalo Bills. I'm not a fan of that because if you look at the problems the Bills have had this year, he's not one of those problems.
If he stayed healthy, the Buffalo Bills would probably be in a playoff spot.
Probably. He's a tremendously gifted quarterback. He's mobile. He's quick. He reads the field well. He's got a cannon of an arm.
The only knock on him has been he can't stay healthy.
Right. But he's developed really nicely this season. So, saying something like that is stupid, especially since if the black quarterback, if it's an all-white dude saying the black quarterback's not the guy, then y'all ain't going to want to pick up RG3 next season.
Yeah, like I said, the narrative is strong with this one, very strong with this one. I think Tyrod Taylor's done enough to earn himself a look next year because what else are they going to do? Draft a quarterback?
Wait. He said who was the last black quarterback to win a Super Bowl?
He said since before Russell Wilson. Who was the last black quarterback before Russell Wilson?
Oh.
As if he was trying to challenge me. I'm like, dude, I was like, Doug Williams. I know that.
I was going to say, Russell just did it 2 seasons ago.
Yeah. Well, that's been the podcast. That's been the podcast.
Was one handoff away from doing it last year.
Yep. That's been a podcast. Let's call the podcast right there.
So,
we can chat for a couple minutes because it's about an hour and 10 minutes we've had here.
What do you plan for Christmas?
Well, I was gonna say I just sent the most romantic tweet to my girlfriend. It was beautiful. I sent her a photo of myself, a Snapchat, and she said, "You look very nice." I said, You can have my face. You can just rip it off. It's all yours. And I sent a smiley face, and she didn't respond. So I'm thinking that she may not have taken very kindly to my response.
Yeah, no, you know what? I love my wife. Been married, almost 12 years. I like my face where it is.
I'm just being a smartass, man. You gotta keep it light. You gotta enjoy yourself.
Absolutely.
Try to crack some jokes, have some fun. I mean, that's my reputation at work. That's my job. Like when I'm not at work, people are bummed, and I'll come in the next day and they'll be like, "Oh man, it was so quiet last night because you weren't here." And they're not saying it because they like me being gone. They're saying it because like it was quiet. The Skype, we have a Skype chat at work. We use Skype to talk to other techs, and they're like, Skype chat was quiet, work was quiet because I'll just be mid call and I'll just put someone on mute and start dancing and like start just yelling into the phone and having fun with it, enjoying myself because what else am I gonna do?
Life is too short not to have fun, bro.
Exactly. Plus, I was thinking about the line from Jessica Jones last night where Kilgrave said to the two chefs, said, "If I'm not back in 2 hours, I want you to tear the skin off each other's faces." And I just died laughing at that line.
Yeah,
that is a perfect line. I'm almost done with Jessica Jones. I'm halfway through episode 8. Don't spoil it. But I'm getting jacked up for the final couple episodes. I'm actually, once the podcast is done, I'm gonna edit the podcast on my computer while I watch Jessica Jones on the TV. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But as for Christmas, getting back to Christmas, I'm going to Buffalo. I'm gonna go hang out with Tori and her family. I did Christmas with my parents here. Just got my stuff. Not a lot of stuff, but I don't need a lot of stuff. I'm a grown ass man. I don't need. I don't know. I just got cool stuff. Like they said, here's some money, go buy stuff. I bought some like cool artwork and posters and stuff.
Cool. Nothing wrong with that.
I actually got I got a print I put on Instagram. It's a print from Jordan Buckley, from the guitarist from Every Time I Die, did a Bills Sabres print. It's really cool. Check it out on Instagram. It's limited to 100, and I've had it for a while. My mom bought it for me and put it away for Christmas. And then I got a Mr. Brainwash artwork of the Beatles as Kiss.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. That's pretty cool.
Figured I got rid of some Red Sox. Gave some Red Sox stuff to one of my friends today that I was telling you about, and I got some actual artwork, I guess. So when I get my own place, I'll have some cool stuff to put up.
Nothing wrong with that.
And not just baseball posters,
Nothing wrong with that.
24, I got to act like it at some point in time.
Hey.
Never. I'm never gonna act my age. I'm sorry. That's just not gonna happen. That's not who I am.
It's no fun acting your age.
What do you got going on for Christmas?
You know what, man? I'm going to Christmas Eve. We always go to my sister-in-law's house, so I'll go be there tomorrow, and then for Christmas, I'll go to my parents. We'll chill for a little bit, open some gifts, have some food, and then we're going to go see Star Wars.
That's awesome. I'm gonna go see Sisters, actually, with Tori and her sister.
Yeah, that movie looks humorous.
I enjoy Amy Poehler and Tina Fey, so I think I will enjoy the movie. I want to go see The Revenant, and then the new movie with Steve Carell and all those other guys about the bank failure in 2008, because that looks really good as well.
Yeah, that doesn't look bad. I want to go see The Hateful Eight.
That too, I want to see that as well.
That looks awesome.
From what I gather, it's awesome, yeah. But it's a lot of good movies. It's great because in the late summer, a lot of good movies came out, and then it kind of slowed down, and there weren't much. And now they're all coming out at once. So it's going to be, at least it'll be good to be able to catch up, have a couple weeks to catch up and watch, go to the movies for a couple weeks, and go see everything and get all caught up on that stuff. But I'm
looking forward to Star Wars because, well, frankly, it's Star Wars. But I'm not looking forward to Star Wars. I'm not going to give away any spoilers for people who haven't seen it yet. I'll wait a couple weeks to complain about it. But Sunday when I was at brunch, there were some people like a table away from where I was sitting, and they were talking about it, and they talked about everything. So I now know what happens in the movie, and I'm not happy about it at all.
Well, maybe your mind will change when you actually watch the movie.
Probably not. Probably
You're mad about
not.
everything.
Because
You're mad about everything, though, Lewis.
no. Listen. They Peter Jackson the movie. They literally Peter Jackson the movie. And anyone who's heard me talk about what Peter Jackson does to a movie knows how I feel about Peter Jackson making movies. And they did that with this. And I got into a debate the other day with a guy who was trying to tell me I was wrong, and that I pointed out a whole bunch of facts because I'm a Star Wars geek. I've read all the books. They don't follow any of the books. Okay. So have you watched any of the new Star Trek movies? No.
I lost you there for a second.
What'd you last hear?
Something about you follow the books.
Oh yeah, so I read all the books. Okay, so here's my problem. Have you seen any of the new Star Trek movies?
No.
Okay, well they're good. You should check them out. The first of the new Star Trek, just Star Trek, they create basically an alternate timeline to go along with the direction that they want to go in. Okay. But when they create the alternate timeline, they actually have a very good way that they create the alternate timeline that flows very well and makes sense in the gist of the movie. Well, in this new Star Wars movie, they're basically creating an alternate timeline that never happens and makes no sense, and they don't explain how it happens. So, kind of pissed off by that.
The sun will come up tomorrow.
Well, it better.
Bet your bottom dollar that it will come up tomorrow. Me too. But tomorrow there will be sun. I'm trying to brighten up your spirits. Your mad spirits about this movie. I want to say I want to point something out. I went and saw a concert over the weekend on Sunday. I saw Every Time I Die.
Okay.
And another band was Harm's Way. Stick to Your Guns was on there as well, but Harm's Way was really good. Their lead singer is jacked. He's got a gigantic like a torso tattoo. Every Time I Die was fantastic. It was my first time seeing them. I was deaf for a day and a half. Absolute madness. Like, the music was great. Crowd was great. They threw stuff in the crowd, threw themselves in the crowd, threw instruments in the crowd, Christmas trees in the crowd. It's just, for an hour and a half, just absolute madness. And it was the greatest thing I've ever experienced in my life.
It was the greatest thing you've ever experienced in your life.
I'd have to say so, up to this point, Everything else is just not as good. It'll never be better than that moment.
I have so much sarcastic things I can say that I'm not going to say.
I'm being very sarcastic as I'm saying it, so
I figured.
Feel free. No, it was one of the best. It was one of the best concerts I've ever been to, for sure. I'm excited to see them again. Probably the next couple months because they're going to be in Buffalo. They're actually staying in Buffalo or coming back to Buffalo to record an album for the first time ever. They're from Buffalo. And they're going to record an album in Buffalo, and then I'm sure they're going to have a gigantic record release party in Buffalo. So that'll be pretty cool to check out.
That would be pretty cool to check out.
But I'm getting into the hardcore punk genre at this point. I'm very happy about it. That's what Every Time I Die is. That's what Harm's Way is, and I'm not mad about it. I thank my wonderful girlfriend, my lovely, wonderful girlfriend Tori, for pushing Every Time I Die on to me. I kind of like them, and then I was like, I'm not. That's not really my thing. And then I started listening to them a little more, and I was like, okay. And then I went and saw them, and I'm like, yo, like, I am there.
I used to Excuse me. Pardon me. Dang. Wow.
I did not enter the mosh pit though, because that looked like a bad idea.
Mosh pits are crazy, bro. I've been in a couple in my life. They're pretty nuts. I got some stories about some mosh pit stuff. But there was a couple punk groups back in the day I used to listen to that were pretty good. I don't mind punk music so much. It's okay.
I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. Hey, I also want to say real quick before we wrap this guy up, bad boy up, guy, girl, whatever you want to call the podcast. You want to wrap it up. I want to send a shout out to Vans. They're pretty awesome. The shoe company, skate company, whatever you want to call them. I bought a pair of Vans a couple months ago, and my left foot on the right side of my shoe started to bubble and popped open. So my shoe is still sealed, but the lip where the gum bottom of the shoe is coming off of the actual shoe. I contacted them. Within 2 days, I had a gift card to buy a brand new pair of shoes, and I'll have a brand new pair of shoes tomorrow by 8 p.m. at my house.
That's pretty cool.
So thank you, Vans, for being fantastic. I look forward to doing more business with you. I was kind of bummed because the shoes I wanted, they said they had them in my size. I go to order, they say they're out of stock. So I got a different pair, but I'm not mad because they were free, so no matter what, I'm coming out on top a winner, I guess.
No doubt. True story.
Not mad about it at all.
Can't be.
But it's 11 o'clock recording time on December 23rd. So, Louis, I want to say, first off, thank you for joining me this week. I know
Absolutely.
Time's been a little weird. Next Tuesday, I have off. I switched my schedule just to let you know. So, Tuesday, I'll be off. We can figure that out in the next couple of days when we're going to record. But besides that, I want to just say, like I said, thanks for tuning in, John, Dawn, executive producers. Appreciate you. You guys are the best. Check out BLTDsports.com for the 2003 NHL redraft coming up soon, and everything else that we're talking about. The Sabres come back on Saturday. This coming up Saturday. They play the Bruins. We'll have that recap and much, much more. We'll have Bills recaps, unfortunately. The recaps are good. The Bills aren't so good. And like I said, we'll just have more stuff on BLTDsports.com. Follow us at BLTD Sports on Twitter, Facebook.com/BLTD Podcast. I want to say personally to everybody out there who listens to the podcast, who supports BLTD Sports and the Gear Network, I want to wish you a safe and very happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah, whatever you may celebrate. Happy holidays.
Hanukkah's over.
I know, but I'm just saying, I'm catching up on everything. I'm not trying to be a D-bag here. I want to include everybody.
I asked one of my friends the other.
Whatever you may celebrate, have happy holidays. Be safe. Enjoy yourself.
Yes, I asked one of my Jewish friends the other day, "What are you doing for Christmas?" Knowing that they don't celebrate Christmas, and she just looked at me funny. I was like,
Somebody made a good point. Someone made a really good point. To feel how it is for a Hanukkah celebrating person, to not celebrate Christmas is like not watching the Star Wars and watching everybody freak out about Star Wars.
Right.
Because I fell out of the loop when everyone's like, "Oh my God, Star Wars," and I'm like, I don't care about Star Wars.
I do. I'm a big Star Wars geek.
I understand. You've told me. You have told me.
Yeah. So,
I was not too sure, but I kind of had a feeling. Feeling about it.
A little bit.
But with that being said, anything else you want to touch today?
Nah, man, I'm good, bro. I want
right.
you to have a Merry Christmas. Tell your girlfriend I said Merry Christmas.
I will pass it
Tell
along.
your parents I said Merry Christmas.
I will also pass that sentiment along. I'm not sure if they listen. They should still listen to the podcast. If they don't, that's very nice of them.
Don't forget to clean up the sarcasm off the floor.
Yeah, you're like on SpongeBob when he says your genius is showing or whatever.
Right.
Exactly.
I don't want them to slip on the sarcasm.
I'm gonna go finish Jessica Jones here in a few minutes. It's like 3 hours, 11 minutes.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, well, maybe not tonight. Maybe I can watch 2.5 or 2 episodes and then finish the third one tomorrow morning. Either way, I want to have Jessica Jones done by Christmas.
Well, then next week we can talk about Jessica Jones.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm down for that one. But again, joining me on the line, Lewis, Mr. MRLG Perez, at MRLG Perez on Twitter. Mr. Perez, whatever you want to call him. You can call him whatever you want. He'll respond. I am Ryan Wolf, at Wolf BLTD on Twitter. We are Better Live Than Dead Sports. No, we're not Better Live Than Dead Sports. We are Better Live Than Dead.
You're not.
Part of the Better Live Than Dead Sports family. We will see you same time, same place next week. Like we said, have a very safe and happy holidays. Enjoy your presents. Be very thankful for all the stuff that you get. Tell everybody how happy you are with them and stuff like that. I don't know what else to say, but enjoy yourself. And thanks for tuning in again to this wonderful podcast. This has been BLTD episode number 73. Have a wonderful night, my friends. Thanks for tuning in.
Later.